So I'm happy it's a new year. Yes, I understand it's the end of April, but I will keep saying that until at least June. Because most of my 2018 was consumed by me processing, getting over a massive breakup. Anyone else? All right, 3 sad people. I like it. No, it's okay. It was mutual, which is what you say when she dumps you. I don't know. It was interesting going through it. It was interesting to see how much time or how little time people were willing to give me to get over the breakup. Like, my mom and dad were the exact opposite. Like, even now, my mom will call me and be like, "How you doing? You holding up all right?" I want you to know I unfollow her on Instagram. I'm on your side. Thanks, Mom. My dad gave me 3 weeks. He gave me 3 weeks to get over a 3.5-year relationship that I thought was going to end in marriage. He overheard my mom and I talking about it one day, and he was just like, "Hey! We still talking about this shit? Move on already. Get over it." I was like, "Dad, like, it's so hard. Like, she was my best friend." And he's like, "You want to hear something? I married my best friend and she barely talks to me." My mom was like, "Well, maybe if you accepted my Facebook friend request." My dad's Facebook, there's no picture, it's just a generic gray logo. It says Bill with no last name. And then it says married to Beverly Abeles, but she's not tagged because they're not friends on Facebook. It is the only account that will never be hacked. It's a thing of beauty. You do dumb things when you go through a breakup. Like, I decided to start growing my hair out, which is why I currently look like a brigadier general from the Civil War. I found my Annabelle. I don't know, it's not really a good look for me. I'm trying to look like Keith Urban if he fucked Keith Urban. But I think the worst is, I don't know, I'm starting to look like a guy that owns an acoustic guitar but cannot play. Bring a girl back to my place, just mount it on the wall. I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" "Oh, don't you worry about that. Play you something." No, that's too intimate, too personal. No, I'm aware we just had sex, but this is not that. Yeah, I don't know. It was a tough breakup to get over because I genuinely thought it was the last relationship I'd ever be in, and now that I'm dating in New York again, there's a chance it still might be. God, I was on a date recently without saying anything about my last relationship. It was just crazy. That's all I talk about. She looks at me and she just goes, "Ooh, she really did a number on you, huh?" I was like, "Who?" She was like, "Your ex-girlfriend." I was like, "How can you tell?" She's like, "You just have this sadness about you, this pain behind your eyes, and I gotta tell you, I think it's kind of hot." I was like, "Oh, what next? You're gonna say you can guess my astrological sign?" And she was like, "Well, based on your restless soul, you're clearly a Sagittarius." And I was like, "You're terrifying. I think I am." I didn't think about what she said about there being some power in sadness, so I do this thing now whenever I'm lonely. I go to a Whole Foods, which is above my budget, but not above my overall demeanor. And then I go to the meat counter, and I wait until an attractive girl walks up. And then I order a cut of the rump steak, which I do think sounds like the saddest steak. And then when the butcher says, "Do you want 1 cut or 2?" I always go, "2. Oh, wait. I forgot. I'm just cooking for 1 tonight. And every night from here on out." And that has gotten me laid 0 times. Fun. That one date did go well, though. We ended up having sex afterwards. Anyone else here having sex? With me? Okay, alright. That laugh made me feel uncomfortable. And she gave me a compliment, too. Well, I think she gave me a compliment. I'll let you guys be the judge. So we finished up, which is the only way I know how to describe what happens there. And then she looks over at me and she goes, "I've never orgasmed during sex before." And I almost did that time. What can I tell you? I was a pretty good student growing up, but that is the happiest I've ever been to get a B+ my entire life. Next time I'll do some extra credit, get that A, make my father proud. Started going to the gym recently because I can't afford therapy, but I can afford Blink Fitness. Need to work some things out, clearly. I got one of those faces where people think they can just talk to me whenever they want. Like when I'm on the street, people always ask me for directions. Apparently, at the gym, they think it's okay as well. Like I didn't go to the gym a lot until recently, so I don't really know what I'm doing. Some guy was just watching me, shaking his head like. paid to watch you, bro. And I was like, then stop. He comes up to me, he's like, let me give you a little tip, all right? Low weights, high reps. Low weights, high reps. You know what? Just follow me today. You're following me. So I'm going around with this guy, and we're working out, and he ended up being all right. And then we eventually parted ways, and then I noticed that he did some push-ups before he went to the locker room. So I was like, oh, I'll do that, and then I'll head out. So then I went and I laid down, and that's when I found out that my body was exhausted. I was just laying there trying to lift myself. And I guess I'm okay with that, because that means I worked out as hard as I could possibly work out. What I hate about that is that means if you just got to the gym, you saw a guy built like me, attempt a push-up, fail, and then just leave the gym. And I left my water bottle there, so I know somebody was like, well, it's probably too heavy for him. Another big thing about last year is I quit my job to pursue stand-up full-time, which that's kind of exciting. Very, very poor, but it was a restaurant job. Anyone here work in a restaurant besides the people that obviously work in a restaurant? I just don't have the mental fortitude to work at a restaurant in New York City. Like, bars have always been okay. I've always enjoyed working in a bar, but a restaurant's just something else, you know? Like, it's so hard. If you get there, you're starving, I'm working, so I hate you. You know, it's Sunday brunch, so we're both hungover, but let's be honest, I'm a waiter in New York City. When am I not hungover? Before I can tell you about the gluten-free menu, you cut me off, and you're like, I need a Bloody Mary stat. And I'm like, I hear that, girlfriend. And you're like, what? And I'm like, sorry, sir, I'll be right back. And I go and I get you the Bloody Mary, and then you say, now I need an egg sandwich, and then I go and I put the order in for the egg sandwich, and then I come back to the table and you say, sorry, is the bread gluten-free? And I'm like, well, if I could have told you about the gluten-free menu. But I don't know, so I go back to the kitchen, and I'm like, hey guys, is the bread gluten-free? And they're like, Will, you've worked here for 4 years. When are you going to learn the menu? And I'm just not. So I come back and I say, I'm sorry, but the bread's not gluten-free. And you say, that's okay, I just want an eggs Benedict anyway, hollandaise sauce on the side. I'm like, that sounds like a sociopath kind of order. I'm going to do whatever you want. So I go back and I put the order in, and I come back to the table and you say, I'm sorry, but this is cold. And you're not wrong, because we just gave the one that was sitting out from the last order I fucked up. So before I go to tell the kitchen, I go into the linen closet and I grab the handgun I've been hiding in case my hand pushes me too far. And I hold it to my head and I say, is today the day? But it's not that day. And I go back in the kitchen, I say, hey guys, I said the eggs Benedict's cold, and then the chef decides to go down to the freezer and he grabs the handgun he's been hiding in the freezer. He holds it to his head and says, is today the day I finally kill Will Abeles? But it's not that day. And so then he grabs a bottle of whiskey that he has labeled Daddy's Juice, and he takes a swig of it. Now he's feeling good. He comes up and he says, I need an eggs Benedict on the fly in the kitchen, cheers. And then I come out and I say, hey guys, eggs Benedict's gonna be right out. Like, this next round of Bloody Marys, that's on me, and all of a sudden you guys like me. But now I'm kind of pushing you guys to close out, because I think that's the appropriate amount of vodka to consume on the Lord's Day. And you guys take the bait, then you split the check, and then you look over at your friend and you're like, you know what, I'll leave tip in cash, and now I have to, hope that you know that you're supposed to leave on the entire bill, and it's 20%. That's right, 20%, not 18, on the entire bill. Yes. Then you hand me the cash, and this time it actually tips my favor because you are bad at math, but it's good. You leave 30%. And I look at the cash, and I look at you, and I look at the cash, and I look at you, and I go, oh my God, thank you so much. And you go, of course, you're the best, Bill. And I'm like, close. And before I go to the back, I swing by the linen closet to grab the handgun so I can fire it into the air and celebrate. And I start passing through the kitchen. That's all someone ice breaks in, and the kitchen scatters. It's a kitchen in New York City. And I realize I'm the only one standing there with a handgun. These are my brothers in arms, so I start taking down the ice agents. I'm holding a gun like this because I've never held a gun before. And I'm not shooting to kill, but I'm not shooting to miss either. I take every single person down, and I start walking out the back door in triumph, and I yell over my shoulder, Viva Mexico! The line cook Felipe's like, I'm Colombian, you dick! And now I'm a fugitive on the run. It takes me all the way to Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, before I finally run out, so I decide to go into a diner and have one last meal before I turn myself in. And right then I meet a girl with her daddy's credit card and nothing to lose, and we fall madly in love. She calls me Bug, and I don't know why, but I fucking love it. But we're also millennials, so as we're driving across the country, we forget that every time we swipe the credit card, they can just follow us. So we get all the way to the Grand Canyon, and we have the cops in front of us and the Grand Canyon behind us, and I look at her and I say, you into the end, babe? And she goes, I'm into the end, Bug. And I swing the car around, and we go flying towards the cliff's edge. And right as we fly over, I remember that you asked for the hollandaise sauce on the side, and we gave it to you as is twice, and you still tipped 30%, and it's like, wow, there really are good people out there.